Hey, my friends and family here on YouTube. I just woke up from a dream, and I'm happy to say it's the first dream in about a month that I've been able to remember. And I was sort of cognizant in the dream that I was dreaming, and I was like, oh, this dream is just okay. I'm not really impressed by this dream until the very end. What happened was I was standing between these two houses. And there was more to the beginning, but I don't recall that, but I remember the end of it. And I'm standing between these two houses, and they're kind of strangely built. And I know these teenage boys are inside of them, and they're like kicking the walls and kicking the windows and kicking the doors, just being really aggressive and having no sense of care at all to this property or whoever owns it or whose house they might be damaging. And in the dream, it was my husband's house. And so I went over and I was like, guys, you can't do this. And they were like totally rude to me. I don't know if they were cussing at me or just telling me, just leave us alone. We're not going to listen to you. So I just wandered away from there. I think I had one of my daughters and maybe my little boy with me. And I wandered over to this swing set, hopped on a swing, and my father-in-law is now swinging next to me. So the first part was about my husband, and then it was about my father. And so I'm swinging, and then all of a sudden, all these boys that were in these houses come over to the swings. And there's this really high wall, like, built all around this park. And they start, like, climbing up this wall and walking on the top of it. And they're doing a bunch of stuff to show off. And one of them had these big weights in his hand, and he was, like, belly crawling on this wall with these weights, and he wanted to make sure that I could see him, that kind of thing, show off. And so I'm swinging, and then I get down, and I'm just observing things, and I walk around the corner, and I see there's a bunch of policemen, and there's a bunch of youth that are getting in trouble back here in this area, like 15, 14 to 16-year-olds. And so I go back, I start to make my way back, and then suddenly there's a police officer right next to me. Just came out of nowhere and decided to come up to me. And this guy, he's on YouTube. He's the YouTuber. In his channel, in the dream, he was the police officer. And his channel is called Anchored Remnant. His name is Francois. He lives in London, I believe. And he's a YouTuber. He just did a dream video about the 3 days of darkness. And he was saying it was going to happen in 4/4 through 4/7. April 4th through April 7th. It didn't. But he was very sincere, and he was trying to put together all the pieces. And I always feel bad when someone, really feels like they've unlocked something from God and have these clues, and then they try to say something with all good intentions, total love and everything, and then it doesn't happen. It just, that breaks my heart, because I know that it breaks their heart, and everyone's expecting something prophetic to happen, and then it doesn't happen. And but anyways, he's a sweet guy, and he was a police officer in my dream. This is the part that I was surprised by, even in the dream, like, this is really happening. So I'm walking, suddenly I have a bag of cheese puffs in my hands, like a family-size giant bag of those orange cheese puffs. And as a kid, I loved those things. And so I'm walking, suddenly I just pop the bag open, and then I realize I've got one in my hand, and I realize there's a police officer next to me, and it's the same guy's face, Francois. And he has this little thing that looks like a thermometer in his hand. One of those childlike thermometers that you put in the ear and get an ear temp if you're at the doctor's office. It looks just like that, but the handle's got black on it, and then the end is white. And he sticks it in my hand where the cheese puff is. And he goes, "Oh, you're okay, Leah." And my eyes got real big. And I was like, thinking, he knows my name from a hand scan? He just put it in the center of my palm and scanned me, and he knows my name. And I said, "Well, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm not doing anything bad out here. I'm just, kind of watching and seeing what's going on. Then he shoves it in my mouth after he put it in my hand. He didn't ask me or anything. He just shoves it in my mouth, the tip of it, and he scans me again. And he goes, okay. So he scanned my hand and he scanned my head. It reminded me of maybe he was trying to scan me for a blood alcohol level, and perhaps this device was able to do that through the hand or through the mouth. But the fact that he knew my name, that was Mark of the Beast stuff. Oh my goodness. But he was a good guy. He was the Christian YouTuber, the law keeper, He represented the law. I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I wasn't concerned or afraid, but it was just God showing me something. Wow. That they're going to be able to scan us and know our names. Now, I'm not going to take the JAB, so I don't know how this guy could scan me and know me, but he did. I'm just putting this out there. It was pretty cool because I wasn't expecting this. I prayed last night that God would give me a dream. I forgot to take communion. I haven't started that yet, but I did pray, Jesus, help me remember my dreams again. For the last month, they've been stolen from me. And so I was so happy that I remembered something. We're very close, y'all. It's just a signifier that we're very close to the days of the Great Tribulation. And it definitely was a lot of darkness. There was darkness when I was at the park. These kids were just like monkeys. They were all over the place. They were lawless. It was like lawlessness, a time of lawlessness. They were just kicking in these houses and just all over these walls, and it was lawlessness. And then I got scanned, and he knew my name from the scan. So a lot of us will have tribulation dreams, and we'll be concerned because we'll think, but I had a tribulation dream and I was in the dream. That doesn't mean anything. You're just being shown a glimpse of what it will be like to be there. You're not going to be there, okay? The Lord is merciful. He's going to catch away his church. He's going to take those that are sealed with his number in their foreheads. And we have the number of Christ. We have been made into new creatures, new creations. And Bible teacher and preacher Mike Drotos, Drotos, had some great videos recently that he believed that it was revealed to him when we become Christians, we are modified. That God changes us instantly into a new creature or new creation. And there's something new that God puts in our DNA. And he described a dream where he heard I think it was harmonic resonance was the words he said. I'd have to go back and check that. But he said that when the rapture happens, there's a certain trumpet sound that's made that quickens our DNA, that our DNA hears and registers with. And that is kind of like the calling of the rapture is this trumpet, and it's activating this new creation, new creature DNA that God put in us, and that's what pulls us up is because we are known as a new creature in Christ, and we are a new creation. I just thought that was really amazing. Very possible that God would do something like that. And so the people now that might be getting the JAB are now injecting themselves with who knows what, and they are potentially changing that new creature, new creation DNA that God has given them, and they're rejecting that and taking some other DNA, which is just scary. That people would be so willing and deceived to do that because they're not aware of the time that we're in. But I don't want to make this too long. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. God bless.